Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Got a nice scope here today from Sportsman Gun Centre. This is a Primary Arms SLX8, which means it's an 8 times erector tube, goes from 1 to 8 magnification, so it's 1 to 8 by 24mm objective lens. Now this is a scope suitable for mini rifle or things like AR-15 shoots, close quarters, things like that, civilian service rifle, all those kind of disciplines, and it gives you that amazing ability to swap from a 1 up to an 8 times magnification. So you got your 1 for fast fire exercises up to an 8 times, which gives you more precision shooting capability. But I'm going to go through it and tell you more about it in detail. So it's got a lifetime warranty on this. It's a 30mm aluminium tube, so it's very easy to mount on the rifle, and you've got pop-up front and rear eye caps to protect the lenses. On the back end here we've got a fast focus eyepiece to compensate for the actual diopter of your eye, so you get a lovely crystal clear reticle picture. The zoom is controlled by the collar here, goes from 1 anti-clockwise like that, all the way clockwise through to 8 power. And critically, this is a first focal plane reticle, so that means when you're looking through it, the reticle grows as you zoom in. Now, some people like that, some people don't, but the point is it gives you a very simple aiming solution when you're changing distances. Now we'll talk more about the reticle in a moment. So it's illuminated, you've got reticle illumination on the side here, and that goes through multiple stages for different intensity to suit exactly what you need. And of course you've got cap dials on the top and on the side for elevation and windage control, and those are in centimetre clicks, which is approximately 0.36 MOA. Now I had hoped to use this on an AR-15 rifle or a mini rifle, but I ended up using it on an AK-47, and I will say I liked the fact that I used this scope because it was giving me one very key benefit. The eye relief was very versatile on it, and I was able to stay in the eye box very easily because that AK-47 has critically short length of pull, and were the gun mine and I was using it long term, I would have put reach forward mounts on it as well as the reach forward of the Picatinny rail on it too. But that's more of an issue with the rifle than with the scope, and frankly the versatile eye box, which is the eye relief back here and the amount you can move within it like that, made this scope work on that rifle where others would have failed. I shot it from multiple positions, I had no issues zeroing it, but anyway, let's talk a little bit more about the reticle and some of the details of what the scope will do. The scope magnification is 1 to 8 power. Its first focal plane, the objective lens, is 24mm in diameter. Eye relief is 3.2 to 3.3 inches, and the ocular lens diameter is 34mm. The exit pupil goes from 9 to 3mm from low to high magnification, and the field of view is 105 feet at 100 yards on 1 power or 14.3 feet at 100 yards on 8 power. Total windage and elevation adjustment is 130 minutes of angle in either direction, and both lenses come with covers. Overall length is 10.3 inches and overall weight is 17.9 ounces. Tube diameter is 30mm and the waterproof is IP67 standard. The reticle illumination is red and there's a fast focus eyepiece. Right, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit now on the box so we can see the details of the reticle. I've taken some photographs through the scope of the reticle as well, but essentially being first focal plane, it shows it here on 1 and 8 power, and you can see how it's very small on 1 power and it grows quite a lot on 8 power, so you can use it for the more precision scenarios. Now the reticle has a horseshoe shape and there's a chevron at the top, which is to set your primary zero. Primary zero is 100 yards, and then you get aim off markers going through it for your different distances. Now the ACSS Raptor reticle is calibrated for a 5.56 or 7.62 rifles, which are of course common military calibers. Now there you go, you can see it there on the box, but we're going to go through the instruction book and tell you a little bit more about it because it tells you in more detail there. All lens elements are fully multi-coated and the tube is fog resistant with nitrogen purging to make sure it doesn't change when you've got different atmospheric conditions. The flip-up lens covers are included. The tube is manufactured from 606 and aluminium and anodised matte black. It uses one CR2032 battery, which is included for the illumination. It carries a spare as well. The scope also has a lifetime warranty. Now the scope comes with a clear instruction manual here, so it's nice to work through that in sequence, and if we look through it on screen here you can see all the factors it discusses. It tells you about the elevation, the windage, the reticle adjustment, the zoom control ring, and also the reticle focus. For new users who won't be familiar with such things, it also has an interesting point here. It tells you about how to get a clear reticle picture and the reticle illumination. That's all described here in the instructions. Some of the more technical details about the reticle are described here, and it shows you the exact detail of the reticle structure and how you're going to use it for aim over marks when you're dialing your scope. And of course this has got more technical details, tells you a little bit about the ballistics it's been set up for and how you can adapt it slightly for your particular cartridge caliber and your particular ballistics. Adjusting point of impact is about zeroing. It explains how you adjust it for up, down, left and right on the actual dials themselves when you're initially zeroing your gun, and then it says letting you know how to get your bullet drop compensation set up, which is BDC, a fairly common industry term. And here if we look at this picture in detail, we've got 100 yards is the top of the chevron, the lower section of the chevron is 200 and 300 yards, and then we move to the markers below, which are 400, 500 and 600 yards. Common distances you might be shooting, and of course in fast fire situations on larger targets for not super precision shooting, those are still going to give you quick aim over points to make your shots on target. Working further through in the instruction book, it tells you here about the windage compensation with different markings on the left and the right for 5 and 10 mile an hour crosswinds. Of course you've got to compensate a little bit for those depending on the angle at which you're shooting in the wind, but those are markers that give you a starting point for fast fire situations. It also tells you about leading the target if it's a moving dynamic scenario, and then here we can see the full technical details and everything laid out for you. It tells you about lens care. There's a cleaning cloth included in the box, and here is the space to make all your notes, which you might be called dope, which is data on previous engagement, and when you're practicing you can set up and make sure you're getting the exact results when you're using the aim over marks in this optic. In terms of using the scope, I've had no problems with it, and I really like a scope like this, especially on rifles designed for dynamic situations and fast fire scenarios, especially ones which aren't particularly precision rifles, but are rifles designed to be used when you're moving about, moving around, shooting from different positions, and also shooting at different sizes of target on those different distances as well in a quick succession with a specific course of fire. The flip up lens caps work really nicely. You've got no issue flicking those out of the way, and they stay well sprung out of the way. I thought the zoom control here was easy to get hold of. There's a little wing on top which makes it easy to actually grasp and move with your thumb, and there's also no perception of any internal motion going on here with all the helical elements of the lens packages inside moving. It goes to a hard stop at either end of the travel, so you don't feel as if you're damaging or bending anything, and it clicks into that perfect position for you. When it's in position, you've got immediate solution on target, and the reticle illumination is also very crisp and there's no bleed out giving you a disturbed viewpoint. So in that respect, I've enjoyed using the scope, and I think it gives you a great picture with an incredibly good target resolution and colour clarity as well on those close range fast fire situations. If you do need precision on it, you get a great crisp reticle picture, and when you're out at 200 and 300 yards using it on 6 power, you can actually place those bullets very accurately. In terms of shooting the AK-47 I had, the scope was allowing to aim with far more precision than the rifle would actually shoot, and it's always good to be able to rely on your optic to make sure you're making the best from your shots. Right, I hope you've enjoyed watching that review. Please like, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to click the notification bell and keep track of the regular uploads. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.